Truly He is the one, He has no father or son.
Al-Hikmat Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al-Hikmat Dawah Services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
All praises are due to Allahu Allah. All praises are due to Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Royal Bengal Trading, importer, exporter, wholesaler of Bangladeshi Indo-Pak groceries and spices. We specialize in various authentic Indian masalas, juices, flours, rices, and spices. We offer exclusive brands as Ocean Pearl, Shan, National, Tilda, Himani, and many, many more. We're located at 36B Coroni Savannah Road, Charleville, Chaguanas, Trinidad and Tobago. You can call us at 473-4676 or call 476-3117. Email us at wahabdk@gmail.com. Now open Sajida exclusive for all of your Islamic and casual wear. We carry a large selection of silk route and al-karam gowns, scarves, hijabs, hijab pins, and many other accessories. We have exclusive Swarovski gold-filled and sterling silver jewelry. We are located in store 143, Coroni Savannah Road, Charleville, Chaguanas, located on the opposite side of TNT Chicken Hut. For more info, you can call 328-6682 or 295-5400.
Fens, the single largest specialty retailer of residential and office furniture, consumer electronics, home appliances, and household items in Trinidad and Tobago. At Fens, we offer a large selection of high-quality products, honest and reliable service. We are passionate about serving you, and we're proud of the standard of excellence upheld by our knowledgeable staff, friendly delivery teams, and dedicated customer care associates. Visit Fens First, your friendly furniture, appliance, and electronic dealer since 1960.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to my journey to Islam on Al-Hikmat TV 24/7 online. It is indeed a pleasure to have with us in Al-Hikmat studio Sister Halima Gibson. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Thank you very much, Sheikh.
Thank you. Sister Halima has a very interesting background. She's a massage therapist for over approximately 25 years. She's a spiritual healer. Spiritual healing she has experience in. She is convert to Islam or revert to Islam, and she has a lot of spiritual background. She's deep into Sufism. So we got a lot of things to talk to Sister Halima about. Stay tuned so we can learn from her experience, her spiritual experience, her educational background, her journey to Islam. This is going to be a wonderful experience. So once more, Sister, welcome to the show.
Alhamdulillah, I feel blessed and privileged to be here.
Good. There are so many things we can talk about. So many things we can talk about. But for our viewers who are worldwide, we got a lot of viewers, Muslims, non-Muslims, worldwide.
Alhamdulillah.
And one of the reasons why we do this show is so that people can learn. They can learn from your experience, from our guests' experience, and what you have to share with the world. The globe is very small nowadays.
Yes, that's
with
true.
internet, with internet, online, media, social media, etc. So tell us a little bit about where should we start? I know we got to talk about your Sufi order, your massage therapist background, what motivated you to get into massage, doing massage, and your love for Islam, and what motivated you to become a Muslim, what you do nowadays, what is your advice to our audience. But before doing all of that, where were you born?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
What's your religious background before becoming a Muslim?
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting. My father's side of the family is Syrian Orthodox. So I grew up watching my cousins in their Sephardic ways, and I was actually brought up in Reform Judaism.
So you used to go to the synagogue, etc.
Yes. Yes, I went to the synagogue for holidays. I went to Hebrew school, and I ended up being bat mitzvahed as well.
Oh, so you went through the bat mitzvah experience. When you're at what age? 13?
Well, no, actually, that was kind of interesting. My father's side of the family didn't believe in girls having a bat mitzvah because they were Orthodox, and I was told that it wasn't going to be much like my brother's bar mitzvah. So I went to Hebrew school, and I had
so
a
the
choice.
boys are called bar mitzvah.
Bar mitzvah, yes.
And the girls?
Bat.
Bath mitzvah.
Bat, B-A-T.
B-A-T. Bat
Yeah.
mitzvah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually chose it for myself later on.
That's basically the bar mitzvah, or the bat mitzvah is basically the teenage turning stage.
Yes, it's the coming
in
of
a
age,
Jewish
becoming
life.
becoming a man, becoming a woman.
Reaching the age of puberty.
Yes, and having the responsibility of, they talk about, we're not really responsible for our deeds and our actions, but at 13, it's when you start becoming more of an adult and actually understand in Islam as well, when you'd have to take more responsibility for yourself.
In Islam, we compare that to the age of puberty.
Yes.
That before the age of puberty, you are considered minor.
Yes.
And you don't get any sins.
Right, exactly.
But when you reach the age of puberty,
yes, you become more responsible.
You become responsible and accountable for what you do.
Yes.
So similarly in Judaism,
yes,
bat mitzvah for the girls, it's at around the age of 13, both girls and boys.
Yes.
Whereas in Islam, it's to do with the age of puberty sort of experience, whether it's 9 years, 10 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15. So at what age did you do your bat mitzvah?
I actually had a bat mitzvah at a wonderful program that I took in New Brunswick, New Jersey, because we lived in New Jersey for most of my life. And it was an incredible experience. I lived at a fraternity house for the summer and relearned Hebrew by a rabbi. And there were 7 of us who were there was one guy who was bar mitzvahed who never was before, and the rest of us were bat mitzvahed. And it was a very moving, it was a deeper experience than had I done it when I was younger and doing it because that's what we did, because I chose it.
Right. And for our viewers' benefit, what basically went on in that bat mitzvah? Whatever you can remember, basically, what do they do?
It was, I learned a portion of Hebrew for the Torah and the Haftorah. And because there were 7 of us, normally there's only one. You're responsible for the whole service. So we were all broken down and we had pieces of the service together. And then it was a luncheon for our family and friends. It was a very small, very intimate, but very, very profound.
So they get you sort of prepared for this journey of life.
Yes, inshallah.
As you get into the age of puberty.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what was your name then?
My birth name is Bonnie. And actually in Hebrew, that is bracha, which means blessing.
Interesting.
Very similar to baraka.
Baraka.
Yes.
Bonnie. Bonnie. Beautiful. So what does that have to do with the song? My Bonnie lies over the ocean.
Man, really?
What does that have to do? Your name and the song. Does it remind you of the song?
I think it's actually your body, but we
The
won't get
famous
into
song?
that. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. That's why, I remember when I was a little boy, I would always hear that song, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean.
Yep.
Interesting, interesting. So in growing up as a Jewish girl, you went to college, what experience, what did you do? A little bit before we get into Islam.
So I actually went to school for fashion merchandising and marketing. I was actually in the garment industry. I've had quite an interesting journey. I actually went to New York and commuted from New Jersey an hour and 20 minutes by bus every single morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and I became an assistant buyer in a buying office. I was smack dab in the garment industry. I had gone to school for it, and I wanted to actually experience it in the only, in the major part in the place where that all happened. So it was a crazy, crazy industry. It was very exciting. I was a young adult, so it was a great time to be there, but it was crazy. Wow. And I was in the dresses and bridal area, and I learned my education through working in a buying office, which was actually the clearinghouse to help a lot of specialty stores make their purchases for their stores for the season or for whatever. So it was very exciting, but it was crazy. People were just very competitive. You didn't really know who had plastic surgery. You didn't know people's age. There was a lot of stuff going down that I didn't.
So a lot of people out there are not really real.
Exactly.
They are fake that look real.
Yes.
Wow.
So I decided to leave that industry. Actually, I ended up getting married, and I decided I wanted to work in the retail end. So I became a manager of a clothing store back in New Jersey for many years, and that's what I did up until the point, basically, till I moved to Florida.
Excellent. So what year did you move?
I moved in 1990.
Into Florida?
Yes.
Interesting, interesting.
Yes.
Were you Muslim when you moved into Florida?
No. I was Reformed. I was practicing Reformed Judaism. And I was married to a lovely Jewish man who is the father of my children. And we came in a wing and a prayer.
Wow.
We decided to change our lives. New Jersey was getting very expensive, and we decided before we had children that it was a good place, Florida was a good place to raise them.
So you came to the Sunshine State with all the water and the beautiful trees and the greenery down here. Wonderful. And how did this journey to Islam all started now?
So I am no longer with that gentleman. I was married for almost 10 years, but we decided to part ways.
Was it before you became Muslim?
Yes. Okay. That was actually part of my education and my learning more about myself and who I was. Actually, I became very involved in a program called Landmark Education. And it was really more of an educational process about what served me in life and what was beneficial. But I actually became quite a searcher. I was actually searching for what I realized at the time, but I didn't realize it then. But as time went on, I've actually been searching since I'm about 16 about who I was. Actually, was in a creative writing class.
Who you are,
Yeah,
what's the
what am I
purpose
here
of life,
for? Yes, exactly.
why am I in this world,
Yes.
and what is the purpose of life,
Yes.
and what now, what after.
Yes, who is that girl looking back at me in the mirror?
Yeah,
It was actually,
yeah.
I wrote a paper for creative writing class. And little did I know that that was really the start of the journey.
And that is interesting that you mentioned that. Ever since when I was in college, before I got involved in Islam, well, not I, before Allah guided me in the path of Islam and studying Islam, etc., I always had that mentality. Why am I studying certain things? It's not necessary. Why do I need to study chemistry? Why do I need to study physics? I'm not becoming a pilot. I'm not getting into all these experimental things in the world. I understand English is important. I understand maths and geography and history, and many things are so important. But sometimes I would question myself, and I used to question myself when I was 16 years. What is this? What is the purpose? What does it have to do with life? And then sometimes as a college boy, I used to look at teachers and say, what is their purpose? Half of them are drunk. Their life is so very corrupted, but they're your teachers. And like, what are they teaching? What is the purpose? Where are we headed? So a lot of things used to pass through my mind, but I never knew if it was real, if I was just confused. But now, after Allah guided me and after studying Islam, now I realize that some of those questions were real. Were real as to what is life, what is the purpose of life, what am I studying, is this important for life,
And what am I here for?
Yeah, everything that I'm studying, is it important for life, is it part of the purpose of life? It's like a television. They've got so many shows on television, right? Do you need to look at all these shows? Are they all beneficial? Are they important? Are they really going to guide you in the right path? Are they real? Are they all true news, fake news, proper documentary? Sometimes when you look at college and university life and you look at the curriculum that they give you, I sometimes wonder, because it's a man-made thing. Is it everything in it is important for life or part of life, or you would have just wasted a lot of time in your life in trying to seek that path? You wasted a lot of time in a curriculum that was really money making by governments, by writers, by directors, by promoters. Honestly speaking, that's what I see.
I hear.
And that's what I hear a lot of thinkers
Yeah.
of today saying. A lot of thinkers of today saying that a lot of things didn't make sense, but it was all about promotion and money making. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the television, as I said, not all the shows are important. You don't need to look at everything. You don't need to buy all the books in a bookstore,
Right.
because it does not contribute to life. Your purpose of life, what you are. Now, different people may need to.
Right.
Because if that may fall into their career, I
Right.
want to make that clear. That may fall into their profession and their career. So now that you mentioned that, for our viewers out there are a lot of young people who would be listening to you and they may be thinking, yeah, that's true. We get this thought and we think that this is the right way because we were told that this is the right way. But is this really necessary for life, for us?
Actually, what I feel, it's really a good point that you mentioned, but I believe one of the biggest things is discernment. There's a lot of things out there, and you could go, many different directions, but actually what I learned is when you go to Allah and it's a direct path, then you don't look left or right, and you ask, is this what I should be? Forget even the should, but is this what Allah wants for me? Is this what His will is? And is this going to bring me to what it is that I want?
That's it. That's a good point. That's a very vital, important point. That is this what God wants me to do? And is this beneficial to me? Like, I always look at knowledge that the Qur'an says, Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil arth. Everything in the earth and the skies belong to God. So it's important we study everything that belongs to God, and it is important for us to understand and know. But we all have a different career, a different profession, but we all have basically the same purpose in life, in different ways, of course. But one of the major thing is pleasing God Almighty.
Yeah, to know God.
And that's what a lot of people nowadays, I think they don't understand. Hence, so many people end up in drugs.
Yeah.
Some people become alcoholics.
Yeah.
Some people become mad.
Yeah.
And some people commit suicide because they've gone through all this thinking it's all important in life,
Right.
only to reach a point where it was not necessary, wasted their life and wasted their time.
Yeah.
So, you know, someone like you in the spiritual world, I know I enjoy talking this with you because you definitely will understand that sort of thinking. Because when you're into spirituality, your brain thinks different.
Yeah.
You
You see
think-
it from a different vantage point.
Excellent. You
You see it from the top down instead of the bottom up.
Right. So back to your point. So now you are in this searching time. And again, I want to mention, I said that because a lot of our viewers there would be thinking how you're thinking. And we don't want them to reach 90 years to realize, well, we were thinking right, but we have wasted our entire life.
Right.
While it's never too late, but you know what?
Right. And nothing's wasted. I believe
No.
it always brings
It's all an
you-
experience.
Yes.
It's a knowledge. It's a benefit. And that's why we have people like you on the show. So your experience can help guide people now in their life. So while you were searching, what happened?
So basically, I studied a little bit of Kabbalah as well.
And Kabbalah is
Is
the
the mystical
Sufism
side-
of Judaism.
Is a mystical side of Judaism.
Well, I just said Sufism, but the mystical side. Okay.
Well, the Sufis and the Kabbalists actually hung out together. I
Definitely.
mean, the
Yes.
Maimonides was a very, very famous, religious leader and proponent of Kabbalah and things like that. So, they actually, the heart knows. The truth is the truth is the truth.
Of course.
That's what I learned, later on, that that's really the basis of all of it. So basically, I went into, from there, I went into a Hinduist path, which was really great because everything brought me to where I am now. And it was the first time I actually got to experience the feeling in my heart. So what was really, for me, and not because it wasn't there or, I don't want to say anything because I believe, that all goes together.
Yes.
However, for me, the real devotion for God was not as deep as I wanted it to be. My heart was crying. And actually, I would share with you that has something to do with why people are addicted to, things out there, sex, drugs, food, whatever, TV, because they're really searching for God. At least that's kind of what I've learned over the years in my minimal experience in life. But anyway.
Some of them don't know they're searching for God.
Exactly.
They got what is called a vacuum inside
Exactly.
of them. And they know there is a vacuum.
Yes.
They know there is an emptiness. And they're
Yes.
searching for something to fill
Yes.
that. But they don't know what it is.
Exactly.
They don't know what is that thing to fill that vacuum.
Exactly.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's spirituality. Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
So anyway, so basically in this Hinduist path, which, like I said, was really nice, and I had some questions about it. I had some issues, actually, not necessarily with the path, but the teacher who was teaching it. He was adding his own ideas and spin on things.
Because Hinduism got a lot of deep meditation,
Yes,
deep
it's beautiful.
spirituality, and
Yes.
they go into deep meditation and
Yes.
spirituality.
And what I also learned about it, looking back, especially because I do a lot of interfaith things. So in Hinduism, they talk about the deities. And the way I kind of hold it for people is that we're actually talking about the divine essence and qualities of God. So in Sufism and as well as in the Quran, there's 99 names. Asna al-Husna and al-Asma al-Husna, astaghfirullah. And those 99 names that some of these represent.
99 qualities.
Right. So I call in a Hinduist way, when I talk to somebody in that pathway, talk about the virtues.
Yeah.
So that way there's no separation. They don't
Right.
feel like I'm, making judgment, because that's only for Allah.
Of course. So then you went on searching and continuing to
So
search.
for me, actually, what happened was I started to feel something in my heart, that bhakti, that devotion for God. However, some of the things, like I said, weren't really feeling like they fit. And at the same time, I was actually introduced to Sufism, which means the purification and cleansing of your heart.
Wow.
And that actually resonated more with me.
So were you introduced to Sufism by a Muslim or non-Muslim?
Well, actually, I was introduced to, and it's actually,
No, why I asked that is because I know a lot of non-Muslim friends who are deep into Sufism, but they do not say they're Muslims.
Right, not everybody chooses it.
But they're deep into Sufism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's another thing in the Western world, especially. So when I actually decided to delve into Sufism, I actually had a sheikh from Jerusalem, and it's actually was taught Islamic Sufism. So the difference that I've noticed in the West is not everybody is taught what they call the three legs. And the three legs are the Hakika, which is the truth, the Tariqa, which is the path, and the Sharia, which is the laws. So I actually learned all three. And the difference is that a lot of Sufi paths, and that's why there's some bone of contention, just like in every path in Christianity and Judaism, the different sects, they have issues with each other, which is unfortunate, which is
of
really...
course, yeah. And that's the human path of it, where people do their own interpretation.
Exactly.
And they do their own ideology and their own concept of different issues.
Man gets involved
Yeah.
and takes something that's beautiful, like religion,
Yeah.
which is about the truth,
Yeah.
and makes it, like you said, for power.
So first you got into Sufism, and then into Islam now?
Yes, so basically what happened was my heart was drawn to Sufism actually from Rumi. A lot of people out there know about the poetry of Rumi. And for me, actually Deepak Chopra introduced it at a seminar in Florida that I attended in Fort Lauderdale back in 2001, 2002. And he played this beautiful CD called The Gift of Love. And this CD was so beautiful and so reverent that you could not tell if he was talking about the relationship, the intimacy between a man and a woman, or the big B relationship, the big beloved between man and God. And for me, that is what really started my journey, and I fell absolutely in love with that. Then I was invited by an old friend who happened to be traveling a very similar path, because most of us are searching in this world. And she introduced me to a Sufi zikr. So I went to this zikr, and I had an amazing epiphany. I had this amazing, incredible experience where my Judaism, because I had learned Hebrew, and also I used to go to parties, my cousins and family, where they had Arabic. So I heard Arabic music, and I also learned Hebrew. And what happened was my worlds converged together.
Wow.
And I felt the connection in my heart, and I actually had an amazing, it doesn't happen for everybody, but I got this message, I love you, Bonnie, I love you, Bonnie, I love you, Bonnie, at the end of the zikr, and tears just pouring down, and I knew I was home.
Wow.
No more searching. I had found my path.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was incredible.
That is a blessing. You felt like you were just welcomed by God.
Yes, all embraced, all the pieces. You know how sometimes we feel like the beads on the string, where this happens and that happens, and you don't know, like you said before, the correlation of why it's there, and then everything came into one.
Beautiful. So do you know what? We have been speaking for approximately 25 minutes now. Oh yeah, time just goes.
Really?
And I know we did not really get deep into your journey. We just reached at the beginning here when you said, that's it, Islam, the dhikr of Allah, that spiritual, as it says, that sakina, that peace that you got in your heart, that tranquility, that peace, that satisfaction. As Allah says, it is by the dhikr of Allah that you find peace, satisfaction, and tranquility in your hearts. So we're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we want to continue a little bit about your spiritual healing that you do. a little bit, of course, share with our viewers on your Islamic experience and being a Muslim, etc., and how many years now you have been a Muslim, and what you do presently as a spiritual healer, and what you do with your office. That office you told me you have, you got an office here in Florida, in Hollywood, and what services you offer at the office, and what sort of spiritual guidance you give to people, etc. So when we come back, stay tuned. We're going to continue our conversation with Sister Halima Gibson on her spiritual journey, on her journey to Islam, and her experience, learnings and teachings, and how we can benefit from her experience and blessings. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a short break, inshallah.
Al-Hikmat Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al-Hikmat Dawah Services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to My Journey to Islam on Al-Hikmat TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is indeed a pleasure to have with us in Al-Hikmat studio Sister Halima Gibson, who is a Sufi healer, and as we said in the beginning of the show, a sister with a lot of experience, as she shared with us before we went on the break, and we would like to continue on her experience, on her learnings and teachings, and how we can benefit from her journey to Islam. All right, so you went to this dhikr and you felt that belonging, and then what happened?
Well, basically after that I was invited to take a promise. They call it a bayat, which actually is what the Sahaba, I had learned later on, actually did with the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, at the under the banyan tree. So
yes,
I made
which is
this
something
prophet,
a lot of people don't understand today, and they don't follow, and they don't even know, some people. Anyhow, so you went, and where did you go and take this?
So basically I was at a zikr.
Swear of allegiance kind of thing.
Yeah, it was actually an invitation to take a promise to live my life in God in surrender. Take hand with a sheikh, my guide, Sidi al-Jamal al-Rafai al-Shadali, from the Shadali Sufi order, and I was given my spiritual name, my Islamic name of Halima.
And where was that?
That was actually in Pembroke Pines. After, like I said, after a zikr, they said, who wants to take the promise? And I had no idea what the promise was.
So the sheikh came to Pembroke Pines?
No, he did not. Actually, it was over the telephone.
Okay.
But my heart was so full of that love and that connection
and where was
to
the
Allah.
sheikh?
He was in Jerusalem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was over the telephone. There were three of us. And we were standing there, and he's talking to the facilitator of the zikr, and he says, Halim, and I forgot what the other gentleman's name, and Halima. And that was my name that I was given.
So that was the bayat.
Yes.
And that you accepted Islam at the same time?
Yes, basically, well,
he made you do the shahada at that time?
No.
Okay.
Actually, that came later. That was in 2003. I took Shahada in 2008. I took a promise to live my life in God, to live my life in surrender, to honor all the holy books, including the 5 books of Moses and the Bible, and to live my life in truth and honesty and sincerity and mercy and justice and freedom of all the prophets. That's what I loved about it. It was all the prophets. And basically to take hand of the guide, not as a leader, as somebody, just somebody who knows the path, who has already been there. So when you take hand, you're taking hand with God, and He is just the reminder, the sign point along the way, who has been there.
Yes, and listen, that's a whole different subject.
Yes.
And I don't want us to get to confuse our viewers, because
Yes.
bayat is a whole different thing, that
Yes.
allegiance and obeying God and the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the order of spirituality, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and the accepting of Islam in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do from 2003 to 2008?
So basically what I did was I went to the next step for me, because I was a massage therapist. I was already in the healing industry. There was a school.
And what motivated you to get into massage?
Actually, because I was in the retail end of it, it was
what
very
age were you when you
superficial.
got into
I was actually 29 or 30 when I decided to change my life and do something that felt more meaningful. Felt that what I was doing was great and it was making a difference for lots of women. I was selling women's clothing, but it
So
was
that
very
was
superficial.
in New York.
No, that was so from New York, I was in the wholesale retail, wholesale end and the buying end, and then in New Jersey, I was in the retail managerial end of a clothing store. And I found that it was becoming empty.
Right.
There was a part of me that wanted to contribute more to society, something that was more meaningful and longer lasting. And I actually had gotten a massage from a massage therapist at a place, and I started asking questions about, if this is something that I could do. I already had a family. If this is something I could, be a supportive role.
So you went and took a license.
Yes, I went back to school, and I got a license.
In that license and that course, do you guys do reflexology?
Yes, I mean, I learned about energy healing, which actually brought me into the whole realm of that spiritual essence that I always knew was there, but I didn't know how to tap into
So you did a little combination of spirituality and the energy
Yes.
from the physical
Yes.
therapy.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. And that's a whole different talk show.
Yeah.
That's a whole different talk show, because I know we're just on the journey to Islam.
Yeah.
And we just got another 10 or 12 minutes again.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get back on the show and talk about that bond of that physical
that'd be my pleasure.
therapist together with spirituality and spiritual healing. Anyhow, so we're going to have to jump from that. I know it's a lot of interesting thing that our viewers will be interested in knowing, but that's why we
Inshallah.
have people like you, and we can come back and talk again. So you did all these things, and then you ended up accepting Islam in 2008. How did that happen?
So I was in healing school in California, actually during the Hurricane Wilma. I had gotten guidance
So
that
you left and went to live in California?
no,
You were visiting.
no, what was really great about this program, it was a 3-year program. You chose a year at a time. It was called the University of Spirituality and Sufism.
Oh, wow.
It was in California, and basically you went for a week or so. Then you would go 3 or 4 times a year. So you would come back in your life and you would continue doing the homework and the practices.
University of?
Spiritual Healing and Sufism.
Interesting.
That my sheikh advised the president of the university to start in America.
Wow. And who's the president of the university?
At the time it was Dr. Ibrahim Jaffe, and he has since, he had left and now has come back as the president.
Okay, and he's from Jerusalem also?
No, he is he from Chicago? I'm not exactly sure where
Okay.
he's from
Okay.
originally.
Good, good. So people go there to study spirituality and Sufism.
Yes, because it's a path to knowing about all the prophets, it's actually a pathway that teaches you about how to live like the life of the prophets
Peace be
in
upon- peace be upon
mercy and justice and truth and beauty and freedom.
Of course, right.
And
so,
love.
So you went and did spirituality and Sufism, and what happened next?
It's a healing pathway that I learned, and we learned prophetic medicine. We learned how to use the ayats of the Quran. We learned how to use the divine names of God in healing. We've also learned how to do some of the healing methods of ruqya, as well as some of the, my sheikh has written about 37 or more books on healing as well, with remedies, because he was actually trained at the age of 7 in herbology.
So are you telling me you did all of this before accepting Islam?
It was while I was in school. Actually,
Oh my goodness.
I was actually a student teacher after I finished my 3 years, and then actually took a 4th year. I ended up in school for over 5 years. My husband thought I was signing up for 1 year. He didn't realize it was 1 year at a time, and it ends up being 5 because my heart found its path.
Where were your husband in those days?
He was home.
And
he was
sent
home
you to study spiritualism.
being very, yes, I would go back 3 or 4 times a year,
Wow.
and he would be home. And the beauty is that nothing happens in a vacuum. So I would be going off and doing these, what seemed like a retreat, and he would be home, but something would happen. Something would happen, because they say in Islam and in Sufism specifically, that your beloved travels in your heart. So even though he didn't accept that, he was very supportive of what I did. He was receiving benefit. And actually, every time I came home, something would happen. Like one time I came home and all the furniture was moved. I mean, something significant would happen for him too, because when your hearts and souls are connected, there are things that happen synchronicity.
That's
Synchronistically.
deep. That's very deep. That's
Yes.
very deep.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, beautiful. Anything you want to tell me about how it all happened and you
So
accepted
how I
Islam?
took Shahada,
Yeah.
basically I was at something called a Halwa, which is an all-night prayer retreat. And we would do this periodically. We would do it at Ramadan. We would do it for Laylat al-Qadr, many different things. But I was in school, and we would do this Halwa. And they asked anybody if they want to take the promise. Again, the bayat. So some people would do that. They would adopt this as their practice and a way of life. And then I said, I want to take Shahada.
Interesting.
Because it was something I felt in my heart. And it wasn't something I was doing because of my children. It wasn't something I was doing because of my husband. It was because of my connection with Allah. Actually, I went home and told him about it when I came back from California. By the way, if somebody asks if there's a Muslim living in this house and they come knocking on the door, the answer is yes.
Oh, right.
So basically how I ended up taking Shahada was I felt it in my heart. And then I asked one of my teachers who was there, who happened to be Jewish. There were a lot of beautiful, what was so beautiful with the teachings were so universal that Jews and Christians and Muslims all over would come to study because of the path of the truth and love and the embracement of all of that. So I asked my Jewish faculty member of the school, if I take Shahada, am I turning away from my Jewish heritage? Because, you know, I brought up with the culture and everything, and he knew what my pathway was. And he says, I can't speak for you, Halima, but what I can tell you for me, it actually made me feel closer to my heritage and my culture. And when I sat with that, and I took a moment to breathe and take that in, I was done. I knew, just like I knew that I was, you know, at that zikr, that this is what
Do you
was
want
my
to
next
repeat
step.
what he said again so viewers could
Sure.
benefit?
He said, I don't know about you, Halima, but for me, it actually made me feel closer to my heritage and my culture.
So he was previously Jewish.
Yes.
And he accepted Islam.
Yes.
And he's now telling you,
Yes.
as a former Jew,
Yes.
that when you accept Islam, you feel like a stronger Jew.
Yes. Yes.
Like a
basically.
more spiritual Jew.
I'm more well-rounded because I learned about all the prophets. One of the things that was missing was about Jesus. And I
Yeah.
actually learned about Jesus.
Judaism. Maybe I want to use the word Judaism.
Yes, Judaism.
You feel like a person stronger in the faith of Judaism.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I also, in the Hinduist path, I also learned about Jesus.
Yeah, because in Judaism, they just missed out Jesus, peace be upon him, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And they got it back all there. So when they combine this together, they got the complete mission.
Yes.
Wow.
And I learned in healing school, I learned about who Muhammad was. May peace and blessings be upon him.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the prophet's way of holding. Each prophet, I was taught, came for their own time and their own people with their message of one of the divine names and qualities of God, and Muhammad was the seal.
That's fascinating. And so you accepted Islam, mashallah, and that
I
was
had
a
an
whole-
amazing experience when I took Shahada.
What was that experience? Because I know there's so much to talk about. We got 5
Yeah.
minutes. I want to talk to you about your office and what you do in the office. So tell us in a few
I
seconds.
don't do very much of anything,
What,
actually.
what was the experience?
So the experience, I was told, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but I was told that when you take Shahada, you get 24 hours of like increased blessings, that there's something that comes in. So I was like a honeybee. We're supposed to be quiet and silent in this halwa. Everybody is together and they're all making their dhikrs silently, but in a group. And it's very beautiful and very, very holy. It's like a wedding with God. Halwa means sweet. It's like a wedding with God. However, my heart was so full of the love and the blessings. All I could do was go from one person to another. What can I pray for you? And I would say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I want a house. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, done. What can I pray for you? I want to have money for my nonprofit. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I mean, my heart was just completely immersed in the love and beauty of God.
Wow.
So I couldn't sit in my seat, and I went to all these people, and not only that, but one of the beautiful things was I really started to understand. I had learned Arabic to pray salat, and but I didn't recognize the light and energy, the depth that the Quran has. And I actually started to understand more of that light and the energy, and I started to understand Arabic more deeply also.
Subhanallah.
So things started opening in the Quran for me too, and my himma to learn Arabic started to grow.
Mashallah, mashallah.
It was incredible.
So it has been a...
There's even more, but we have a short time, so.
I know. So
It shows remembering.
I think we'll have to come back and,
Inshallah, be
and
wonderful.
do another show on what you do, like the spiritual healing. And so could we just talk about that for a few seconds?
Sure.
So what is your office all about? What do you offer?
So basically, like I said, I don't really feel like I do much of anything, but really what it is about helping people to support them.
When you do a lot of things, you feel like you don't do anything.
Because it's not work. You know
Because
this.
it's so many things that you wish to do in the world.
Yes.
That even if you're doing so much, you think it's nothing.
Yes, because it all
your
comes
dream
together.
is to do so much.
Yes.
And it's like me, I still feel I need to just do more and
Yeah.
more and more.
Yeah.
Even though I have friends, tell me, how do you get all this done?
Yeah.
How do you travel all over the world? You're
Yeah.
there today, you're here tomorrow, you this organization, that, and I'm like, but
Because
I
it's
don't-
not work.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't do anything. I just feel like I just need
living
to
your life and
accomplish-
connecting.
I just want to accomplish much more.
Alhamdulillah.
So I understand what you say. So this office, what is it about?
So basically, I do like with people, I sit with them in a coaching and mentoring capacity, and I help them to really what I do in any way, shape, or form is help people connect more deeply with God. To find their
Muslims
unique
and
way.
non-Muslims?
Yes, Muslims, non-Muslims, Jews, Christians, Buddhists,
Oh, so you
Hindu.
help them get into spiritual
Yes.
healing.
I help them to connect more deeply with their Creator in a way that works for them.
So people that are stressed, mentally depressed.
Anything from relationship issues to cancer.
You're kidding. So they come by you.
Yeah.
You got hours of operation.
Yeah, basically I have an office 3 times a week in downtown Hollywood, off of Hollywood Boulevard. and I sit with them one-on-one, and we customize what it is they're really looking for. What is it that they're
So
searching for?
do you have in front of the office?
I don't have
Spiritual
anything.
Healing? What's the name?
No, actually, I share an office with a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a psychologist, and he just recently took Shahada, actually.
Wow, that is interesting. No, that is interesting. A psychologist, people go there, and then he tells them you need some spiritual treatment to combine this psychological treatment that we go through.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Yes.
So important.
Actually, he also went to school with me, so he also has that in his background too.
Oh, spiritual
University of,
healing
yep,
and Sufism. And now he
Yep.
took Shahada.
Yep.
He's American?
yep. You met him recently, and I'm going to ask him if he will be willing to be on the show.
Good. Wow. Okay. No, I was not here. I was out of the country. And I
Actually-
was told that he came and accepted Shahada. Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
I was told about that. And I was really told that you brought the person and you were there when the person
Yes.
came. Phenomenal. We
Yeah.
would do that.
That's what we do, right?
We would
just by living
really-
our lives,
Yes.
sharing the love and mercy and peace and
I
justice.
think we need to get
of
him
God.
on the show.
Yes,
and talk
inshallah.
about that.
Inshallah.
We need to get you back on the show. So we
my
could talk
pleasure.
a little more on some deeper levels of your spiritual treatment to people. And when people come by you, what you do. You know, there are a lot of people all over the world. You might be
There
getting
are
calls
people
from
that
people
are needy and sick.
all over America. All
Yeah.
over the world, people will be calling
I do
you.
this long distance too.
So let me ask you, if someone want to get in contact with you and get some of this spiritual healing treatment, how do they go about contacting you?
They can
Should we let
contact
them-
me by my phone, by my email, and I do work with people one-on-one in person and online and on Skype.
So should we let them contact, seeing that they're looking at Al Hikmat TV?
Sure.
We got all our numbers. Al Hikmat is international. They can contact Al Hikmat office, wherever. And in all practicality, they may not be able to get your details right now.
But they could
And
contact
they can
through you.
contact Al Hikmat TV,
Yes.
Al Hikmat office,
Yes.
and ask for Sister Halima Gibson.
Yes.
Your number, your info, and they can get in contact with you directly.
Inshallah.
So Al Hikmat office can give out your information
Yes, you
for
have my
people who are
permission.
interested in spiritual healing.
Yes.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, that's what we were taught. My sheikh taught us that, you know, we need to spread the message.
Yes.
One flag of mercy, justice, peace, and freedom. And spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all these pieces need to come together because we are in a body. Even though we're spirits, we're in a body and we have a job to do to deliver the message.
I've always been very deep into my love for spirituality.
Yes.
I've always, you know, my sheikh told me, and I'll share this before we conclude the show. He said, it doesn't matter what you build. You can build Al Hikmat, you can build Darul Uloom, you know, my spiritual sheikh. He said, you can do whatever you want and travel throughout the world. But if you don't sit and have a spiritual group of a few people who will just sit and do the dhikr of Allah and spiritually connect to Allah, then you are still incomplete in your mission. Oh yeah, my sheikh told me that. And ever since he told me that, which was about 20 years, I think, or maybe more than that, more than 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I got very deep into it because I had a spiritual sheikh. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
in
yeah, I'd
another
love to
show.
hear about that too.
I went into deep spirituality with my sheikh.
Alhamdulillah.
Ever since I was 17, 18 years, I've been into spirituality. But you know what happens? A lot of people out there, my personality confuses a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, because one time they see me look like this, jacket, tie, and suit, and a hat. And one time they see me with a mama, big gown, giving a khutbah.
Right.
So they're like, is he Tablighi?
Jalaba, right.
Is he a professor?
Right.
Is he, what is he? Is he spirit
Right.
Sufi? So they're sometimes confused. And
Right.
I just don't care.
I get the same thing.
Because my mission is love for Allah,
Yes.
please Allah,
Yes.
and spread the message of God.
And he's the only one we have to answer to.
And
You know what I say? And this may be something that is helpful to your viewers out there. I don't know You know, I feel like I'm still a student and always a student. But one of the things that if I could put my head on my pillow at night, knowing I did everything that I could, that subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with me, may blessings be upon all the prophets, and I know I've done my job for the day.
Of course.
I have peace in my heart.
Yes, and when you do your duty to God and you please God, then He has promised good tidings and glad tidings in this world and the hereafter.
Inshallah.
And that's the love, and I really appreciate talking to you on this show.
It has been an honor
My
and a
journey
pleasure.
to Islam. I think our viewers would have benefited a lot from what you had to say.
Alhamdulillah.
And we will have to get you back very early to talk about your healing. That
Okay.
little healing experience.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you so our viewers could benefit and we can all benefit what
Sure.
went on in that University of
Sure.
Spiritual Healing and Sufism, and what you do in your office and how you help some people.
Sure.
Because I think that might be big. That might be deep. A lot of people are looking for that.
Yeah.
So I want to tell the viewers,
the
stay
world is
tuned for
needy.
that talk show when we will invite Sister Halima Gibson back to talk about her spiritual healing and how people can benefit from that. So thank you very much, Sister
so very
Halima
welcome.
Gibson. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Oh,
We benefited a
alhamdulillah,
lot
mine
from you.
too.
And looking forward to have you back on this show, and maybe that will be global issues and how that's a spiritual healing and global issues.
That would be my pleasure.
Yes, and thank you very much again, viewers, for tuning in to Al Hikmat TV 24/7 online. Again, it was a blessing to have Sister Halima Gibson with us in Al Hikmat studio. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All praises are due to Allahu, Allah. All praises are due to Allahu, Allah. Allahu, 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Royal Bengal Trading, importer, exporter, wholesaler of Bangladeshi Indo-Pak groceries and spices. We specialize in various authentic Indian masalas, juices, flours, rices, and spices. We offer exclusive brands as Ocean Pearl, Shan, National, Tilda, Himani, and many, many more. We're located at 36B Coroni Savannah Road, Charleville, Chaguanas, Trinidad and Tobago. You can call us at 473-4676 or call 476-3117. Email us at wahabdk@gmail.com. Now open Sajida exclusive for all of your Islamic and casual wear. We carry a large selection of silk route and al-karam gowns, scarves, hijabs, hijab pins, and many other accessories. We have exclusive Swarovski gold-filled and sterling silver jewelry. We are located in store 143, Coroni Savannah Road, Charleville, Chaguanas, located on the opposite side of TNT Chicken Hut. For more info, you can call 328-6682 or 295-5400.
Fens, the single largest specialty retailer of residential and office furniture, consumer electronics, home appliances, and household items in Trinidad and Tobago. At Fens, we offer a large selection of high-quality products, honest and reliable service. We are passionate about serving you, and we're proud of the standard of excellence upheld by our knowledgeable staff, friendly delivery teams, and dedicated customer care associates. Visit Fens First, your friendly furniture, appliance, and electronic dealer since 1960.
Al Hikmat Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al Hikmat Dawah services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
Truly he is the one, he has no father or son.